What's up, guys? Welcome back to the That's So Dev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. We have some tea to get into today. But before we get into this tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else. Okay. So, girl, right? Let's chat because I recently just went to go meet Fourth Impact. And I don't even know where to begin, right? But let's just start from the very beginning because all of this is a manifestation of my YouTube reaction videos and also my love for girl groups. And there's just this shining and defining moment I remember where, Fifth Harmony, I I want to say I grew up with them, and in a sense, I did because Fifth Harmony was formed the year before I graduated high school. And so, I just feel like I went through my adult phase with Fifth Harmony. And, going through life, transitioning as an adult and figure things out, and going through college, and really having to deal with a lot of stuff that, first of all, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Because who really does, right? But it was an overwhelming point in life where things kind of got dark, and Fifth Harmony was like this light shining through the crack. And I had always been a girl group fan, but Fifth Harmony really brought something back to life in my spirit, and I can't even explain that to you. I mean, if I was struggling to get out of bed for class, I was playing "That's My Girl." Come on, hey, what you waiting for? Oh, like that was my shit, right? And it kept me going. It fueled me every single day to keep moving one foot at a time. And that is just the energy that I have always been provided from a girl group. That strength, that power, that unity, that love, right? And so I was so embellished in this girl group era. I mean, I love Little Mix. I love Fifth Harmony. I was posting Fifth Harmony every day. I was posting on my Snapchat stories, Fifth Harmony concert videos, all of these things, right? Because, I mean, this is just what I wanted to do, was showing my love for girl groups and whatnot. Like, it just really felt right to me. Like, it was something I needed to do. And I remember somebody commenting on me posting, and they were like, stop. Like, they genuinely wanted me to stop what I was doing because they were over having to see it. And I remember at the time, I didn't cave to it. I was really like, no. Like, I was like, hell no. And, I obviously am not the person today that I was then to be able to actually address it the way that I would today. But I can only imagine if I had stopped when that person had told me to. And instead of stopping, I dove head first into that shit. Like, oh, you don't like it? I don't give a fuck. I do. And I'm going to do it loudly. And then I'm going to be even more loud, bitch. And I was from that point forward. And this was about 2016, I want to say. And so here we are. I start this YouTube channel in 2019 because my idea is I'm going to start this YouTube channel, and my first reaction is going to be Normani's, album, first song, whatever, right? Like, that was my whole idea. And, you know, it seemed as though that time was being pushed back even further. And I remember specifically Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj decided that they were going to drop Hot Girl Summer. So that ended up being my very first reaction. But it really birthed this platform, because at the time it wasn't that Sowdev. It was just, I think it was just Sowdev maybe. But I didn't have it branded. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was just having fun, right? I remember being inside of my dorm rooms being so depressed at this idea of, like, I was watching YouTube videos to really cope with what I was dealing with, right? and it brought me this joy and this positivity, and I wanted to return that favor and that energy back to people. And so when I started the YouTube channel, that was really my motivation for starting it. Had no plans for business, had no plans for doing anything other than just having fun and doing reaction videos, right? I didn't expect to post this video and get thousands and thousands of views, even though I see that a lot of my counterparts who may not look like me will post one video and get thousands of views and thousands of subscribers. So I already knew that I had to work 1,000 times harder than the rest to make it happen. And that put a lot of things in perspective to me, because as I began to really dive into this world of YouTube, I learned more with every single reaction that I filmed. It just, it wasn't just from the analytic aspect of it, because I wasn't really paying attention to that. The whole idea was for me to build a platform for me to be able to speak, utilize whatever, and showcase my love for music and artists. And as it began to grow and grow and grow and grow, it became undeniable that, well, shit, like, people actually like this stuff. And I decided that I wanted to be more serious. I wanted to step into the monetization side of things. I wanted to make my YouTube now a business, because there were so many people who wanted to structure me because they saw the energy that I was getting. They wanted me to make it a business. They wanted me to do these things on their own time frame. And I was kind of like, look, I just want to have fun right now. And I did. I really stood my ground on that. I had my fun, and I think at a certain point it became more serious, not because I wanted to, but because everybody else saw it as something more serious. And I had to at some point fall in line with that, not to say that, oh, I didn't want to do it, but I did it anyway. But once I really accomplished this feeling of having fun and all of that, I felt it was right to move forward with making this. So I rebranded the account. I created a whole new channel to being that Sowdev. And from that point forward, that Sowdev turned into something bigger than I thought that it would. Because as YouTube began to build, I introduced the podcast about a year after I founded that Sowdev on YouTube. But let's also not be mistaken, because along with YouTube, I started that Sowdev in 2019 on Instagram too. And it was never to gain followers, but it was also to put this content on a different platform so people who didn't watch on YouTube could also watch. I didn't care to invest in Instagram, and I still don't. It's more just to drive traffic to YouTube. And if you don't want to, sure, you can watch the video. I don't expect it to get thousands and thousands of views on Instagram. So once I really created that Sowdev, it just took off. It took off immediately. And I was like, okay. You know, I was reacting to Little Mix. I was reacting to Fifth Harmony. I was doing Fifth Harmony. One of the main staples of my channels was what happened to Fifth Harmony. And that was a video that I did literally back in like 2019. And people had been asking me for a part 2 for years. I'm not even joking. Like, that had 100 views in 2019. It popped off and had several hundred more as time passed on. And it was clear that people wanted that from me so bad, to the point that they're going on different platforms to be like, hey, where's part 2? So it became clear to me that I had an audience of a girl group, especially Fifth Harmony, and I gave them what they wanted on the new channel. And as time went on, I started to embrace this girl group thing more and more. And once I began to really embrace the parts that people really didn't want me to, I began to see things like, hey, Leanne from Little Mix has now reposted your video, right? And now your reaction to Lee's video has 100,000 views. Your first video to reach 100,000 views. So I begin to realize that these videos are not only reaching the people that I've wanted to impact positively with YouTube videos, it's also reaching the artists and positively impacting them, especially, artists stepping out from a girl group who may be a little bit nervous and they see, oh, hey, this is resonating with my people, with Black people, right? Especially for an artist inside of a group where you are the only Black person, you may not feel seen, you may be overlooked to be celebrated by your own people. I realized how impactful that was. Then it became, okay, well, I did a reaction to this person. They noticed that. They shared it. They shared how much they enjoyed seeing that reaction. And it's been a giant manifestation into today, because I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter if your video gets 100 views or 0 views or 1 view. It doesn't matter. Whoever comes across that video, it could be anybody, right? So this one video that I post has 400 views, right? Does it matter? There are plenty of videos that have hundreds of thousands of views on them. But this one video with 400 views, an artist saw. That artist being Fourth Impact. And Fourth Impact being like, you know, thank you so much for reacting to our video. We love you. Like, we hope to see you at our show. And what? What? Like, the manifestation of doing what I loved has resulted in not only an artist, but a girl group being like, hey, we want to invite you to our show with a free ticket, and then we want to meet you to personally thank you after that. What? What? I don't even actually know what to say to that to today. Like, till this day, I don't know how to respond to that other than the fact of, again, it's a manifestation. I have been doing this for years now. And each year I've learned more and more and more about how to execute a YouTube video and how to expand the reach of a YouTube video beyond it just being on the platform. Because if I didn't drive my traffic over to YouTube from another platform, it may not have reached so and so artists. They may not have seen it because, sure, it's drowned out. You have to think how many videos are on YouTube as it is, and then how many videos get posted every day. So for an artist to come to that video, that is a big deal. And it's been a reoccurring theme over the last year, especially. I've had it throughout the years, right? Just little things here and there. But over the last year, it's been like one after another where somebody is noticing this video. But at the same time, it's also been one after another where I'm seeing the positivity and the joy that it is bringing my viewers that I once wanted to bring to viewers, because that's what YouTube videos and reactions brought me. I wanted to return that favor, and I have, because every time I see these comments of, thank you, we love you, this is an amazing reaction, it doesn't matter what they say, in the sense that it's positivity coming out of their mouths. I have shared that positivity to someone else. How wonderful is that, right? And again, to see an artist feel that as well was amazing. Now, let's get into the journey getting to Fourth Impact, right? So, again, here we are. I'm just doing my thing. And, I tag Fourth Impact because anytime an artist comments, I'm going to post a comment on my YouTube post, on my Twitter, and on my Instagram, and then I'm going to tag them as well. So any little thing that happens, the video posted, I'm going to do that. The artist comment, I'm going to do that. The video reaches a milestone, I'm going to post that. Like, I'm running the social media as if I have a machine behind me consistently. And it's obviously working out. That is a method that does work. it truly does. So, I always tell people to really invest in their social media, but, doing that in itself, getting me the response of getting the free ticket to Fourth Impact and blah, 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 blah. So they reach out to me, let me know all the details, and I'm like, you want to know, is it possible for me to bring my videographer and blah blah blah? It doesn't matter what I asked. It didn't. Nothing mattered. I was just always met with positivity and just love, and you can feel it, right? Like if something had to change, no worries. It's okay. Don't worry about it, right? It was just wonderful because I feel like even before I had met and seen the girls, I already felt that energy of welcomeness, of love, of care, right? Like, so the things that I've known the girls to be from videos was already showing through direct messaging, which obviously I have to give a major shout out to their eldest sister because she was just so wonderful to me. And also thank you to the fans because you really helped make this happen, right? It really was a team effort between you all being so positive and receiving the video so well, me doing the videos, me tagging them, you reaching out to them. I felt like we made this happen together. I didn't, right? We're all in this together, and it was a beautiful thing. So here we are, we made a. No, keep this in mind. I only found out about the concert a week before. So I had exactly a week to have everything in order from, okay, how are we getting there? Where are we staying? Blah, 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 blah. Like there's so many things that you have to focus on for a trip to happen because, I mean, sure, I live in Vegas and I'm going to LA. That's about a could be 4.5 hour drive depending on traffic. So it's just the fact that I somehow managed to pull all of that together to make this happen. I have no idea how, because God knows the amount of stuff I have going on over here. But I knew that I couldn't miss the opportunity, and I didn't. We had a nice road trip. I drove my car on down to LA. We had us a cute hotel, and we didn't have time for anything. I'm gonna be real. We didn't have time for not a thing. We got there, we checked into the hotel. We had maybe an hour and 15 minutes to just chill and relax. And then we had to go. Because one thing about LA, that traffic, it's absolutely insane. So, by the time we left, we got to the hotel about 3:30 and we had to leave at 5. The show was about, I think it was at 8 p.m., but we wanted to catch something to eat, and then again, the traffic. So keeping in mind it's 5 p.m., it's rush hour, so it's probably going to take us about minimum an hour to get where we need to go. So it was nice that we had thought about that because Team That Sowdev and we've gone to LA more than just one time. And I remember going to LA working for TMZ at the time, and I had to get about 2 miles away. And it took me almost an hour to get about 2 miles away. I'm not even joking with you. It was about 1, 2 p.m. It wasn't even rush hour. I mean, sure, you can say it was lunch rush or the back end of it, but still, it's just the simple fact that it is insane out there. So we planned ahead. We didn't want to be late. And, we had no idea where the theater in itself was, but it was a beautiful surprise because we ran into Little Tokyo, right? And I hadn't heard about it. I have to be real. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen anything about it. But it was just kind of the fact that we were kind of immersed into Fourth Impact's world kind of a bit, like, and it was just like, I don't know. I felt like the experience that we got going to the show, it just felt authentic to them, right? I mean, the food, the culture, just, and somehow, because the girls, they were speaking in their native language, and like, I don't really know how. My friend, she knew exactly what they were saying. So we really didn't miss out, truly. We didn't. And it was just such a beautiful thing that we got to really hopefully experience Fourth Impact's world, their fans, their family. What a beautiful thing, because I remember we arrived at the venue and immediately the people who were handing out the tickets, they were so incredibly nice. The security at the door was so incredibly nice. I mean, everybody was just walking around with kindness and love. You could feel that. It was in the energy before the show even started. So I gotta say, they picked a beautiful place to have the show. I believe they've performed there before, but this is really their first solo concert. I'm telling you guys, when that show began, and I mean from the opening acts, it was amazing. And I don't know if they really know all of their opening acts. I mean, like all of them, but there was this one girl. She was a white girl, and she performed the song. She was like, "This love is traumatic. No, 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 no." Like she like ate that up. But I had heard the song before, and I knew it wasn't a big song, but I could not remember where I heard it. I tried to Shazam it, could not. But I loved the fact that they platformed somebody. They really did. And I don't know, I just think about divine timing a lot because I don't know that song. I heard it probably once or twice in my life, but it's not something that pulls up in the music database. And the fact that they had her opening, I was like, amazing. And all of their opening acts it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. I feel like they picked really good singers. I feel like they picked a wide range of people with different styles, but they also kind of matched Fourth Impact style. So the music style wasn't too off. Like, I felt like the list of openers were carefully crafted to match the aesthetic. And they did 100%. So I have to give them kudos for that. I felt like that entire show was put together with love and care, genuinely. And, now getting to the show itself, y'all, let me tell you, from the moment that it opened, starting out with Bang Bang, obviously being a staple for X Factor. X Factor has broken a lot of groups. It's true. And you didn't have to win it. One Direction didn't. Fifth Harmony didn't. Little Mix did. But again, you didn't have to. You really didn't. And look what it did for their careers, whether it was immediately or not. I think the only difference is that if Fourth Impact had the immediate push that, Fifth Harmony and One Direction had, where they were in, people's faces. They had, Radio Disney to go onto. They had several different outlets and platforms to platform themselves. And it really worked in their favor. I mean, they went, and people have to remember this too, right? Fifth Harmony was performing in malls before they got anywhere. And it often makes me think about Fourth Impact's fans and their journey, because I had no idea that Fourth Impact lived in LA. And to me, I don't know how long they have, but mentally for me, that is a game changer. But I know Fourth Impact has a very strong fan base. And here's what I'll say about how they can expand on it, because I've had ideas, and obviously I'm not the perfect social media analyst, but I did go to college for a lot of it. I have a minor, in regards to this. And it's one of those things where I remember watching Fifth Harmony, and Fifth Harmony had the 5H takeovers on YouTube where we really got to watch them actively throughout their career as if it was a reality TV show. We really got to see them behind the cameras and invest in them and their friendships and get to know them and feel relatable to them and see these quirky moments that people can talk about and all that stuff. And I feel like Fourth Impact needs to take a page out of the girl group mainstream book. There is a checklist, and I know people may not realize that, but there is. Look at Cat's Eye too. They're taking page after page out of the girl group, and they're checking the boxes one by one. They really are, y'all. And it's one of those things where I think that Fourth Impact really needs to invest in their US base, in the sense that they show more of themselves. I think that it would probably be something that's kind of draining. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I don't think that that's gonna be something like a camera needs to be following them around. People need to see the behind the scenes of them, what's going on, their friendship, because watching them on stage, even friends that I brought to the show that had no idea who they were fans at the end of it. Like, genuinely, they were invested in, like seeing the moments of them as sisters and how they have banter with each other, and it just their energy together as a group. It really made people stick to them, and people need to see that, not just at their shows. It needs to be accessible to people all over the world, especially this country. So I would love to see them. And I know that they do a lot of, covers and live streams and all of that stuff, but I think that they're going to need to invest in something similar to a reality TV show. Even just posting that on YouTube is going to take things even far. Because they're figuring out the music thing, right? Distorted was a wonderful pop record for the American market. And I think that they're on their way. I Bet You Never. I really do like the song. I think that it carries an essence of what people want to hear in the US. I feel like the chorus may throw some people off in the US, and it's a delivery issue, right? I bet you never done with the bad click. Yeah, baby, you wish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that delivery kind of feels a little off. And I'm saying this respectfully. I feel like the delivery for that lyrically feels watered down, right? And I don't think people in the US want that. Like, Distorted had a very strong lyrical being. It did. Even February. I think February is my favorite Fourth Impact song. But those two songs are shining examples of the stature of a song that they need to have. Even Round and Round, to be honest with you, I think that crosses boundaries between the US market and what Fourth Impact really is, and their capability and their theatricalness. I think they're finding that balance, because even I Bet You Never, even regardless of still what I have had to say about it, sonically, it is getting somewhere, right? Because that beat is a beat that will resonate out here. It's just going to be the delivery. Don't throw stones at me. I'm being real. Because I see all the ways that Fourth Impact can take advantage of the open girl group market. We're seeing more girl groups. I mean, from Build the Band. I mean, you've got Three Quincy, you got Say Now, you have Flow, you have there's a bunch of them. I can't seem to name them all right now, but I can for sure, not off the top of my head, but 8 of them for sure that are out there. Oh yeah, how could I forget Cat's Eye? But then you also have people like Fifth Harmony who are making their reunion comebacks. Like, this is the era for reunions, and don't think that Little Mix is gone, because Little Mix will be making its back at any point in time when those girls feel fulfilled enough in their solo journeys and feel like that they've really carved the path on their own. And I think they're doing exactly that. And I think this is the perfect time for Fourth Impact to really hop on the girl group wave, because when X Factor was going on, there was a girl group wave, but it wasn't big enough. We only had 2 come out of that. We only had Fifth Harmony and Little Mix really come out of that era, but Fourth Impact is in an era where Girl groups are coming from the ground up again. And, look, I just feel like they have a lot of potential, and I feel like this is just the beginning for them. Gotta drink my water. I better be drinking it too. But, that show just really proved to me that they have everything it takes to break out into the US. It's going to be, and I know they said they don't have management, and that is the biggest issue. Out here, you need to have management, and that management needs to move like their life depends on it. Like, they're not going to eat if they don't do their job. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's so true. You like, and they said one thing that they've learned about being out here is you have to hustle, and you do. You really do. That's a big part of it. But if you don't have the management, your hustle is going to burn you out, right? And that's when you get tired, and that's when you're like, dang, is this really working out for me? And that management really does make that bridge between the artist and that platform. They kind of close that gap, and I want to see that for Fourth Impact. My goodness, I'm like, please, please let this happen. I want it for them. You can tell they want it. Watching their show, their vocals, they're astounding. Their harmonies, they're sharp. Their choreography is it. Their choreography really matches the girl group aesthetic that people want to see, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It really is. And they were talking about how, they didn't match the beauty standards of where they came from. And that was so disheartening to hear because, my goodness, they're beautiful. And they said, out here, there's no age limit to your success. And there's not. Not even a little bit. I mean, have you seen Escape, Destiny's Child, all of these different type of groups? And sure, you can say, oh, those are just comebacks or whatever. But it's the simple fact that they still continue to push forward, move forward, get on stage. Doesn't matter the age. They're in their 40s. Hello? Come on now. And I have no doubt that, and this is just me, but I do believe that Destiny's Child will have another album. Whether people are aware of it or not, I do think that that'll be the case. There is no age limit to it. And they are absolutely right. And they do have time. And, I was just thinking about it because, look, I think that Fourth Impact could thrive in Las Vegas. Genuinely. I think that they could. It's like there's so much opportunity out here that it's not even funny. Like, if I were to be, like, in a hypothetical world, let's say that I was Fourth Impact's manager, right? I see an enormous amount of opportunity. I see things where, hey, we're having this open video audition to see if you want to perform at the iHeart Music Festival. And yes, I do get these things where I see it. I mean, I am an artist creating my music myself. So as I'm creating this music, I'm seeing more opportunities come about, but the music's not ready yet. I'm still in the process of recording it and getting it mixed and mastered. But it's just a simple fact that I see these opportunities. I look, right? Hypothetically, I saw that. I'm going to get Fourth Impact to record a live performance. I'm going to send this in. They're going to get back to me about, oh, hey, we're going to accept you in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do auditions virtually again for everybody we've selected. And we're going to pick the best out of that to perform right? At the iHeart Festival as an opening act before the festival officially starts, or B, right outside the arena on the massive stage that they have outside. Right? Or, for example, okay, let's say like the Super Bowl was here not too long ago. You want to perform at the Super Bowl? Send in the video submission here. Or hey, We're a local Vegas venue. We're looking for local artists to do this residency for us, right? So there's constantly these endless opportunities for an artist to be platformed and for them to get an opportunity to be seen. And this is why a manager is so incredibly important, because Fourth Impact already has a base. They already have a following. They have everything that these people out here want and need. But Fourth Impact is out in LA, where it's the most crowded ever. And it's the same thing in a sense of acting, right? Because I do acting. I am on set. I do work on productions and stuff like that all around, behind and in front of the camera. But the reason why a lot of us are so happy you're here is because obviously a lot of things film in Vegas out here. However, we know going out to LA means it's more competitive, right? And people are nastier and it's harder and people will scam you. There are a lot of things going on. And that's not to say some of the things won't happen here, but it's a smaller but mighty community. We have a lot of opportunity here, but we also lift other people up. It's really not competitive like that out here. And I think it just makes for a better environment and community and experience. And it leads to more opportunities for us to be on sets and, to make money and to do all of these things. Like, it's just less congested here. Right. And I feel like with them getting out of LA and coming to Vegas, because Vegas is more than the Las Vegas Strip. There's so many things outside of Vegas, especially living. And I guarantee you, wherever they're living, if they ended up living in Las Vegas, it would knock down their cost of living at least by half. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You're paying so much more. And I know it's LA, like it's this glamorous thing, but it's also only a 4 hour drive. It's also only an hour plane ride. So there are a lot of factors I feel like you need to consider when it comes to that. Like, they are artists really trying to make it. And I feel like the smartest thing for them to do would be to go about this route. Right? It's not going to be, oh, Fourth Impact, change it, move out, and just move to Vegas now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that they have planted roots out in LA. But again, this is like my hypothetical world and also just kind of my suggestion moving forward, because I feel like it would take a lot off their plate. Genuinely, there's so many opportunities for them, and for them to be kind of established already and to have the history that they have. If I need to point them to a manager out in Las Vegas, I know who to send them to do press releases for them. Even like, Las Vegas really is the entertainment capital of the world, and I would love to see them utilize that genuinely, even to a sense where they could go and they could perform at nightclubs even. And these nightclubs do residencies as well. And these nightclubs have people from all over the world come over. Like, there are just so many different scenarios that they could be inserted in order to enhance their look. I don't know, y'all. These are just some of the suggestions that I have. And I'm like, I really want to relay this information and just, see what they think about some of these ideas and how to navigate it, because I think that it could help their career going forward, right? I know they've gotten scammed before. I know it's been very difficult for them. And I know that they do want to win. But it's going to be exponential, not impossible, but it is going to be exponentially harder in LA for them to get this done. Because, like I said, you got girl groups coming from Netflix, Cat's Eyes from Netflix, Frequencies from Netflix. Like, there's a couple bands from Building the Band from Netflix. Netflix has platformed lots of girl groups that are now stapled in Los Angeles. Get out that place. That is my recommendation. Easier said than done. Trust me. Long term, better for you. And I just want it for them, y'all. I do. Especially after watching that show, it was just so fantastic to see refreshing art in artists. They are artists. They are singers, seeing real singers. I love that. I miss that. And I want that in this industry. So, girl, look, that's all. For the most part, this is all that I really have to say. But the last thing I'll speak on here is meeting them was a moment. Meeting them was everything that I expected it to be. The love, the light, the care. Now, setting up the scene for meeting them, right? So I'm standing at the stairs, I'm waiting to go over and walk over to them. Um, no, mind you, I'm thinking these girls have no idea who I am. In my head, I'm like, they have no idea who I am. So I'm just gonna walk up like I'm a regular person at a meet and greet and just be like, hi, kiss him, mwah, take our picture and move on because that's just kind of what I expected. We didn't really have time to have any conversation that much because of the way that it was set up. Like we had to go, 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 right? But somehow we still had an opportunity for a big moment. Like I was behind them. They had I believe it was Mylene. She like looked over to her right and instantly started saying hi. And I was like, is she saying hi to me? And lo and behold, she was. And then Irene turned out, and then Almira turned around, and then Selena turned around. Like it just became a moment. They're like, hi, Sowdev. And we really got to take in that moment and, just have a quick conversation. They were like, we love watching your videos. You're our favorite actor, our favorite reactor. And I was just like, wow, like this is really happening. Like my brain didn't have time to really process that, but I got to give them each. I think I gave them a little hug twice because we were just really exchanging love and in that moment. And I just remember because even though things were moving fast, right? Once we kind of locked in that moment, and I think everybody realized, hey, they know this person knows them, they're having a moment. We don't want to interrupt that. It really allowed us to have some time to really acclimate ourselves, it felt like. And that was such a beautiful moment to me. It made everything that we went through to get to this, show worth it. Because I don't know, like I felt like the energy between the girls and I had shifted. They felt like friends now. They didn't feel like people I'm just watching a video of or people that I thought were in another country or not tangible, right? They're human beings in real time that I've met, had a conversation with, gave a quick hug or actually two. And, it was just um, a confirmation of who you thought they'd be. And when you're in positions where you go and you meet this celebrity, sometimes they tell you not to meet your idols and stuff like that because it may not turn out to be what you want it to be. And if it's not, then that's going to suck. And I don't think that that's always the case. I went and I met Normani, and Normani was exactly who I thought she'd be, probably even better. And I'd say the same for the girls. So I don't know. Maybe I just like pick some of the best people to be fans of or whatever. But, I got to give a shout out to the fans because y'all are the ones who requested that first video. And hey, it just went on from then. The reactions that I was doing, like the fans were requesting videos, but it got to a point to where it was like, I want to do this reaction. So even though they didn't request it this week, I'm going to put this out anyway. So, and I know, I don't have as many fourth impact reactions out as I used to because honestly, every week I'm doing somebody different. And that's been a big thing for me. Like the channel at some point had focused on getting views, right? but I was focused less on getting views over the last year than I was getting subscribers, getting, you know, the loyal people who are going to stay and watch these videos, even if it's not somebody that they typically like. They're going to watch the reaction for you. And that's really been the investment in me because, over time, I've hit the 1 million mark, I've hit the 2 million mark. I'm almost hitting the 4 million view mark now. And no, I don't feel like I'm entirely accomplished in the view area, but I feel like I hit a milestone to where I can now shift focus. I don't have to worry about the fact that, oh, this reaction video is getting 1,000 views, 2,000 views, five, right? I have a reaction video that's 20,000, two that have 10,000. I have several thousand reaction videos that have thousands of views. But then I've dipped into the shorts area where my shorts have millions of views probably on their own. I have one that has almost 200,000 views. So I've taken small bits of time to focus on different areas rather than having to do them all at the same time, because that's where burnout really comes, you know, for me. And even implementing the podcast onto the YouTube channel, because I hadn't done that. I didn't plan to, because the podcast is only audio. Who was going to sit on YouTube and just listen to a podcast of only audio? But come to my surprise, my friends say they do that all the time, even if they can't leave the app. I said, oh shit, for real? So I just started doing that, mainly because people were in my DMs literally asking me to put the podcast on YouTube. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And I think it really opened up an even bigger space for me to provide forth impact content without it maybe even being a reaction. So I'm doing a different reaction every week. I'm doing two different reactions, right? Two different artists. But fourth impact, maybe I can, talk about them on the podcast. Maybe I can get some video content of them at this show and post it on there for the fans. Maybe I can get concert clips and post them as shorts. So I'm finding different ways to implement fourth impact for you guys as well who are watching for fourth impact. But also at the same time, my idea is, okay, my channel is at a point where fourth impact is like, I want fourth impact to get into the algorithm, the US algorithm. They have an algorithm of their own. And people tend to forget, like, if a video gets 1 million views, there's a whole world, right? So there's a difference between, if, let's say, for example, Fifth Harmony released a song and it got 3.5 million views. Those views are mainly coming from the US, which is going to help push them on US charts. But if somebody internationally gets even 10 million views, one of those million can come from the US and the rest can come from the rest of the world. And that 1 million is probably going to try to push them on the charts, but it's not going to do as much because it doesn't hold as much weight. So not everything is surrounded in the US. It's just not, you know. A song could, 5 million streams worldwide on Spotify, but in the US they only got 500K. And people also have to keep that in mind. So they're kind of in an algorithm of their own on YouTube. And I'm here to push the fourth impact agenda, okay? I'm in the US algorithm. I'm getting videos that are 100,000 views and stuff like that. So I want to plant the seed of fourth impact videos in that algorithm so people come across their videos. And I've already started, because at minimum, I'm going to get a short that passes 1,000 views at minimum now. It used to be only a couple hundred. It used to be 100. It used to be 500. It used to be 800. I used to struggle to get over 1,000, but now 1,000 is really my baseline. So I'm like, you want to know what? That is going to be perfect for introducing them into an audience that isn't familiar to them. So that's what I'm doing now, and it's working out pretty well. They've got a couple of thousand already on my channel, and I'm just going to keep pushing the agenda because I am rooting for them. That is a form of support for me, like a deep form of support. So that's really all I have to say. I love those girls. Truly. I cannot wait to see where they go next, what they do next, and I hope to catch another show. I hope they're in Vegas. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. You're iconic. Make sure you drink some water, eat some good food, take care of yourself, okay? Because if you don't, who else will? There's a lot going on in this world. You must take care of yourself. All right, y'all. I'm hopping off here. Thank you so much for tuning into the That's So Dev podcast, where you stay true and stay you. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That's So Dev, and I will be seeing you on the next podcast. Peace.